Some news in the sport of boxing. Let's talk about the heavyweights. We all love the heavyweight division, right? Well, it was announced that the Moses Ituma Philippe Hrgovic fight is now for the vacant IBF World Heavyweight title. Frank Sanchez was supposed to be it. He was the mandatory, but a few greenbacks made him sign that he would step aside and let Moses Ituma and Philip Hrgovic fight for the belt on the condition that he gets the winner, no matter who it is, in the next fight. So he makes some extra coin, and he's still going to fight. Personally, I think Frank Sanchez shouldn't have done that. I think he should have fought for the title, because despite him saying how old he is, he looked like he was pushing 45 in his last fight. So the longer he waits, the less chances he's going to have. And he looked really good. I thought in his last fight, he looked really good, and he should have kept the momentum going. I think it's going to prove to be a mistake, but that's just my opinion. Now let's talk about the fight, Moses Ituma and Philip Hrgovic. First and foremost, Hrgovic, I don't have any problem with him potentially fighting for this fight. I really don't. He's paid his dues. He's fought the big fights. He's only got the one loss. I'm not going to criticize the IBF for having his name pop up as a potential candidate to be one of the participants to fight for the vacant belt. I do, however, have an issue with Moses Ituma. Now, before I get into that, because I know there's so many Ituma fans out there. Look, I've talked about this many times. I like Moses Ituma. Everything I see in Moses Ituma is enlightening. It's something that I'm looking forward to. He possesses everything you want to see in a heavyweight, especially at that size. He's fluid. He's got hand speed. He's obviously got pop. He can move around the ring. Don't know much about his defense because he really hasn't had to display it. But here's the thing. At 14-0, that's it, 14 fights. He's only fought 2 that were against what we're going to say are decent opposition. At least they were known. His first victory was the first one I'm talking about, is a total blowout over Dillian White, which was, listen, I've said it before and I'm going to say it again. It smelled fishy to me. Dillian White was in there with some top-notch power punchers that he did okay with. He came up on the short end, but, he's a durable fighter. And for Moses Ituma to come in and blow him away the way it happened, and of course he complained it was stopped too short. I'm never going to blame a referee for stopping a fight too soon, only because it's safer to stop it too soon for the fighter than too late. But I always thought that fight was fishy. I'm sorry, it smelled fishy. Then the next known name on Ituma's record is Jermaine Franklin. Now, Jermaine Franklin, no disrespect to Jermaine Franklin, but he went into that fight with 2 losses, if I recall correctly. And those 2 losses were against decent opposition. Every other, good, better than decent, okay? But every other win he had, 26 wins or something like that, if I recall correctly, was against no-name guys. Yes, he was hard to stop. Yes, he went the distance with some top fighters, a couple. He lost the fight, but he went the distance, so he gets labeled as a durable fighter. But how good really is he? Okay, so he's a durable punching bag for the higher end guys, and he beats the lower end guys like he's supposed to. So what does that tell us about Ituma? It does not knock his skill set. It does not knock it, because we see it. Okay, we see that it's there. But in boxing, I think the biggest thing that's missing is the fact that fighter managers and promoters don't give a fighter enough time to develop. And quite frankly, In today's landscape of boxing, you really don't have to. And let me explain why. Let's take a look. Let's take a look. Let's take a look. The truth of the matter is when if you ask somebody, you can't ask anybody because most people won't know the answer anyway. But if you ask a boxing fan who the world heavyweight champion is, I would be shocked if any other name other than Alexander Usyk or even just Usyk came out of their mouth, because everybody still considers Usyk the world heavyweight champion. Now, he does still possess the ring belt, which is the linear championship. It used to be anyway, to the heavyweight division. So the ring belt has a little juice. So he still is technically a champion. But the alphabet belts, the WBC, the WBO, the IBF, and the WBA, I say it in that reason, boys and girls. I say it in that order for a reason. That's the order in which the validity of those belts mean to me, in my opinion. I believe WBC, WBO, IBF, WBA has the least credibility in my opinion. But let's look at the heavyweight division, the landscape right now. We're just talking about Moses Itauma and Felipe Hrgovic. They're fighting for the vacant IBF title, the same 4 titles that Usyk gave up, right? So that one's vacant. So we know the WBC champion. In case y'all forgot, it's Ajit KBL. Now, he was the interim champion, and he was elevated to the champion after Usyk vacated the belt. So he didn't win the belt in the ring, but nonetheless, he's classified. If you look it up, he is currently the WBC World Heavyweight Champion, and the truth of the matter is I do believe he's the best of this crop. That's not named Usyk. So when you look at the WBC champ, although he didn't win it in the ring, I do believe that he at least deserved a shot at the belt. So it's going to be interesting to see who he fights next. Now, the WBO World Heavyweight Champion, that's Daniel Dubois. Now, in case you forgot, Daniel Dubois was a previous champion, and he lost his belt to Usyk, and so he regained this belt. Now, how did he get it? Well, he fought and beat Wardley, and Fabio Wardley and him are going to be having a rematch. There was a rematch clause, and Wardley, who was the champion, is invoking it. So that's taking place later this year. But Wardley inherited the belt because of the giving up the belt from Usyk. And he was even saying how important the Dubois fight was to him, because he didn't feel he really was the champion because he didn't earn it in the ring. So I always gave him credit for that. But Dubois won. So you got Daniel Dubois is the WBO champ. Now, in case you're wondering if the WBA has a world champion, the answer is yes. And you know who it is? It's Murat Gaziov. Now, if you forgot how that happened, if you follow the bouncing ball, the WBA, and this was their regular heavyweight champion, was floating around for a while through some obscure reasons. It stayed with a guy who didn't fight for a while, and he gets in the ring and he loses the fight to what the heck? I'm going blank here. The Russian fighter. In any event, Coach, help me out here. In any event, he got the Pulov. That's who it is, Pulov. And Pulov got the belt. He won the fight. And he defended it against Murat Gaziov. Gaziov beats him, and now he's the WBA champ. He had a successful defense recently. But yes, he is actually a world champion. So when you look at that and you say, okay, well, at least Murat Gaziov, he's an experienced fighter. I don't believe he's a world heavyweight champion caliber, but he was a cruiserweight champ, and he won the belt in the ring. AJ KBL, and he's the WBA. AJ KBL, the WBC. He deserved a shot at the title. I do believe he's the best heavyweight out there, not named Usyk, but he didn't earn it in the ring. But I'm okay with him wearing that belt. I think he deserves it. And Daniel Dubois is the WBO champ. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with Hrgovic and Itauma. Personally, I think that the Hrgovic-Itauma fight, I think Philippe Hrgovic was going to give Itauma the biggest test of his career. So it's going to be interesting to see. But I also believe that, Philippe Hrgovic is the perfect opponent for Moses Itauma. He's not fleet of foot. He's powerful, but he's got to stand right in front of you, and you got to let him keep, you in front of him, and so he can land a punch. But I think Moses Itauma, with his footwork and his hand speed, should win this fight. But I think he's going to have to win it in the later rounds. And if I'm Hrgovic, my plan would be to try to get Itauma in the later rounds, and I would try to move around the ring, see if Itauma chases him, which would be an interesting thing to see if he's smart enough to cut the ring off, or if he's going to chase him around looking for the knockout. My hang up is I just don't think Itauma is that guy that should be fighting for the belt now. I think he should have, assuming he gets past Hrgovic. I think after he beat Hrgovic, I thought a fight between him and Sanchez would have been really good. It looks like that could be possible now. It's just that he would be going in as the champ, and I don't think it's fair to Sanchez. But in any event, that's the heavyweight. Then